Hello and welcome. What's going on, guys? So, Metal Gear Solid 2 just finished up. Want to talk about it. A lot of good things, some interesting things, and some kind of not great things I want to talk about with this game. So, reflecting back, Metal Gear Solid 1 was a great game, to the point, diverse with a mission selection, really cool, interesting world that you started to dive into and discover kind of government plans and ideas, and it was really fun. I think the cast of characters were great. And so leading into this game, I kind of had high expectations, right? As you should after playing Metal Gear Solid 1. Well, this game is kind of not what I thought it would be. And you start the game off as Snake, right? You're Solid Snake. You're on a mission. When you're on this mission, at the end of it, there's some stuff goes on. I don't want to spoil anything, obviously. If anyone's interested in getting it and playing it, Snake disappears, right? He disappears, presumed dead. And then I was like, wow, all right. I mean, that game was pretty short, but then you're introduced to a new character named Raiden. And I figured, I was like, okay, we'll see how this goes, right? Snake's, missing. You're this new guy, but you'll probably play as Snake again. You do not. You see Snake again, but you don't play as him. And I feel like that kind of, I don't want to say ruined part of it for me, because I really did end up to grow and like Raiden quite a bit. He was kind of very flat as a character up until the last, I'd probably say hour or two, about 2 hours of the game. And when you start to discover a little bit more about his background, and maybe he didn't really know his background, right? He kind of felt like a character I didn't really care much about. And when you run into Snake and you guys are talking, part of me kind of felt like Snake's kind of communicating back with me some really cool stuff that he's doing. And I almost feel like some of the stuff that Snake was doing that I wasn't doing was way cooler. And I'm like, I kind of wish I was playing that game and playing as Snake right now, because the stuff that he's doing seems kind of cool. And he's with Otacon, and I'm like, it'd be kind of awesome. Like I was like, I like Raiden, but I don't love Raiden. And Snake's doing some really cool stuff off screen that I kind of wish I was doing, rather than kind of going between all these different parts of this structure. I forget what they called it. Struts. Yeah, strut A, strut B, and all the, strut E, D, all that crap. And I feel like I was doing a lot of running around to the different ones, going back to get, a missile launcher, and they're going back, and then doing it. And it felt like a lot of just, and you had that in one. I feel like with this, like the setting in one was just way cooler. This, you're kind of on like a base, in the water. It just kind of got a little old after probably about hour 4, where I was kind of like, I wish there was a change up in the setting, because the first hour, half hour maybe, as Snake on the ship was really cool, and this was really cool, and I really liked it. But then I felt like I was like, all right, well, take me somewhere else. Like I think no matter what, like strut A to L, I don't really care. It looks the same to me. There's different buildings between it, but I felt like I needed a change up after about hour 4 of it, where everything kind of felt the same. I will say the one thing that I really enjoyed about this game was the variety of the missions, where it can become a long-range sniper mission that Snake's helping you out as you're getting Emma across these beams, or you're swimming because part of the building is underwater and you need to get to this other side, and you need to swim there, and that was pretty cool. Or you gotta dress up and disguise as one of the bad guys in their suits, but you can't go with your normal pistol because they carry AKs, so you need to go find an AK and get the AK to then fit in. And I thought that was really cool. It's a very smart game that way. Really cool variety of the missions, within this kind of area that kind of loses its interest to me. But I thought that kept it fresh and kept it alive, at least. And then to the point after that, we do move on to a new location, and super cool location. I travel and visit New York quite frequently, and I walked past George Washington, gave his inaugural speech. I walked past that all the time when I'm in the city. It is kind of cool that that's where, you know, the game kind of wraps up and ends, and it's really cool. And I think, although you don't play as Snake, I think seeing Snake and Otacon's sister, I think that was really cool. And I really liked that. And I think Raiden as a character really grew on me. Even though, like I said, I'd prefer to play as Snake, I really like Raiden. Another thing about this game that I really enjoyed is the story. And I think this was maybe reading my mind because it's some really cool shadow government, the Patriots manipulating civilians' minds. It's really cool, really unique. It was kind of like every conspiracy that you think about, but then it gave it backbones to it. And I also really thought it was kind of cool that, I mean, they talked about AI and neural nets back in 2001, when this game was released, and how relevant this game is to current day. But basically how they were talking about and how AI is being implemented, and the scariness of, you know, manipulation, and basically trying to weed out original thought and distractions, and it all became a really interesting kind of piece where I kind of sat and actually had to think about things, because, you know, I think about this or talk to my buddies about this every once in a while, but man, this game 25 years ago was thinking the same thing I'm thinking right now. But it's cool that even a 25-year-old game is so relevant to this day on the back end, right? Who are the Patriots? I think it sets up future games, hopefully, with the Patriots. And also Solidus and the rest of Dead Cell, right? Like, I think they you know, they had their own agendas and such. I will say the one thing I didn't love, and I think the first one did so well, was kind of like boss battles. This game kind of felt a little flat. Like Fat Man. If you would have described Fat Man to me, I wouldn't have believed you that's a character. If you're like, all right, he's a giant guy in a kind of like a bomb suit, and he's bald, and he rolls around on rollerblades. And also when you see him for the first time, he's drinking wine with a straw. I would have been like, you're lying to me. That's a complete joke. But it's real. And and you know, I mean, it's interesting. The characters are all really weird, but I felt in the first game it was a little bit more convincing and unique with like Raven. Here, like Vamp, Vamp just felt like there's an actual vampire in this game, by the way. That can run on water, and yeah, it's weird, man. It is cool. It is cool in its own right. I like that. It's just not my cup of tea. I think I really preferred the first game and how those guys were, where they're kind of, you know, if you want to call them experiments or henchmen or whatever. I like that route that they went. This one was a little bit over top with an actual vampire. I don't know. Fat Man, I don't know. I didn't really like or enjoy the boss battles as much as I did in the first game. Overall, man, this game was actually a really fun game, even though I think I have some gripes with it. And I will say I like the first one a lot more than this one. But I never had a point where I was like, all right, I just wish it's over. Because I think it is unique in its own right. It is fun, too. And at the end of the day, I think these games excel at is they're just fun and they're enjoyable. I'm really excited to play the other ones. I like this game. I didn't love this game. There's a lot of really good parts, but then get overshadowed by some parts. The cheesiness, it's kind of somewhat too much cheese, in my opinion. Like, spoiler alert here, like when like Otacon's sister dies, the parakeet or bird, it kind of feels then he's like just like sobbing for the next like 5 minutes of cutscenes of he's just crying with this bird. I mean, I don't know, guys. I mean, I couldn't help but laugh a little bit at that point. I don't know. And also like her name, like Emma, but then they call her EE. But also, I will say on that point, this is my last little point of this video, is I actually kind of liked the backstory of Otacon and his sister and his family. You get a lot of those nuggets throughout this game, whether it's Otacon, whether it's Raiden, whether it's Solidus, right? Like that, even Snake. It is cool to kind of see this and play throughout this, and then little subtle drops that you'll get. Yeah, so it was cool. Also, one more thing, Jack and Rose, really? That's kind of wild. Like Jack and Rose. So Raiden was named Jack, and for some reason his girlfriend got like hired on to be a part of this mission, and you're kind of like, what? Like, something's weird here. Something's very off, right? Yeah, I mean, who didn't call that the first like 2 seconds of the game? But I was like, that's strange. Why is she a part of it? And then she keeps asking you questions. Do you remember what you remember what today is? Like, it's like, I don't really care. Like, I kind of want to play some really cool stuff with Raiden and Snake and destroy some government stuff. Like, I don't know. It got. I think it strayed a little bit farther than I wish it did. If it was more condensed and straightforward, if it really focused on the Patriots majority of the time, I think that would have been more fleshed out. At certain points, I feel like the game pulls me in so many different directions away from the main line of it. It was good, but I kind of wish you focused on the thing, because there's too many relationships and things being discussed that really distract you. But hey, maybe that's the point. Maybe that's the distraction of it all, right? Who knows? All right, guys. Well, that's my thoughts on Metal Gear Solid 2. Keep up on the channel. I will be playing Metal Gear Solid 3, and I should be having a video on that in the coming weeks. So, like, subscribe, and it's great talking to you, and tune in for the next one.